Obviously it's great to be back here. It's been a while. Ideally we wouldn't have liked it to have been this long. We left after the last time with a few things. We left in the training sheet that we did, and it's going to be interesting to see if they've kept going with a few of the things that we sort of tried to put in place that evening. I'm looking forward to it. It's completely different being here, and it's quite warm, and it's not pitch black like it was last time. But I thought what was summed up last time when we were here and training, that it's difficult conditions to train under, not much lights. They had temporary, they've got the temporary sort of floodlights, but they still all turn up and they all want to play and they all want to enjoy themselves. And if you can get that, it's a joy to always come and help out if you know that you're going to get that sort of level of enthusiasm every time you turn up.
I understand from our conversations earlier you're going to be here in a coaching role, but there also might be an opportunity to dust off the old boots and get out there yourself.
Well, hopefully, yeah. I think it's not technically a league game today, so everyone's here for a bit of fun. So it might be the case. I'm hoping so. It'll be good to have a little run around, a little trot around, and you sort of can probably help out a little bit more when you're on the field than you can from when you're on the touchline. It's very hard coming into a team where you don't really know that. Yes, you've had a brief look at them, but when you're out there, you can make it instantaneous changes. You know what I mean? You can talk to people, just say, right, there's holes there, do this, do that, or I think defensively you can help a lot as well, making sure they sort of stay tight together. We call it working in threes, making sure you look after the guy inside and outside you. And if you're out there talking, you can hear that, you can sort of implement that at the same time. Yeah, I think what QB are trying to do in terms of getting 2015 coaches, new level 2 coaches by 2015 is a big thing. I think it's something that you hear a lot about in British sport, not just in rugby, in football as well at the moment, about the lack of coaches and the ability to sort of influence guys. And you want people to want to have that role. It's not an easy job to be a coach. Put a hand up, it's not an easy job, but there's a lot of people out there who want to just help out at local rugby clubs especially, and it's having the ability to be able to go out, get that little bit more insight into coaching and what they need to be looking to do, and then being able to then get into a club and deliver it. And I think it's a great idea, and hopefully with the RFU QBE can put that into place, and if we can do that, it'll be fantastic, because it's just going to improve the game. The level of the standard level is going to go up all through the country, and then that's only going to filter upwards, and you're going to get more and more English grown players who hopefully can push on for bigger and better things. Yeah, retirement's been it's been different. I've actually really enjoyed it. I thought I've sort of always been someone who I've enjoyed myself when I haven't been training and off the field, but when it comes down to it, I've always had that base, and that's always been the focal point of my sort of career, and is training and playing and doing as well as I can in that. So it's been a little bit odd not having that to go back to, and but at the same time I've been lucky enough to be able to fill that sort of void, which I thought there would be a massive void, and I really would miss it, and I'd struggle a little bit. But I've been lucky enough to be able to fill it with good fun things to do, but also still every now and again put the boots on and go training at the local rugby club and just have a run around. You sort of, I think the major things you miss is that sort of team camaraderie, and they're the building blocks of rugby, and it's what the game itself has been founded on, and that'll always be the stuff that you'll be drawn back to, is having that sort of best mates sort of fight for each other on the field, and then enjoy each other's company off the field. I think the World Cup next year is massive. It just puts an added excitement on the whole of this year, the whole of the Aviva Premiership, the Autumn Internationals, the Six Nations. It just adds an extra spice. I think with England there's still there's positions up to grab for players. I think the summer tour almost threw up more headaches than it did concreting positions. People stepped up in certain games, and I think it just proves how strong our squad could be come the Six Nations and come the World Cup. I think with England's prospects, I think they're fantastically good. I was still really impressed with what they did in the summer. I thought for 2/3 of the whole 3 games, they were probably the better team, but New Zealand still show how class they could be. They can put in 10-minute stints where they just blow teams away, and I think England, what they've shown over the last 18 months is they can learn from things and they adapt and they evolve, and if they can continue that development over the next, whatever it is, 12 months till the next World Cup, then I think they're going to be very, very hard to beat on their own patch. The best decision maker that I've probably come across, ones that have popped straight into my mind, obviously Wilco was pretty good, but I think Will Greenwood was very good. You know, he had this ability to ghost around the field, and he could spot when the game had changed, and he could really influence it. And he was a master at just turning up at the right time to either see where he could create something for someone else or where there was an opportunity for himself. And you know, those two together when they were playing, they worked really well with that. They knew each other very well, as we all did in that team, but they seemed to work well and make the right decisions in right places. But you've got to understand the game to be able to make those calls. Otherwise, you know, you might interpret something completely different. Like I might see something and it might be completely different to the way that you'd see it. And now I might see there's not a chance there, and then someone else might see that chance there. And so it's the ability to watch games and learn from games, and then recognise the scenarios as they turn up. And that's what the whole point of sort of review and analysing games is. So if you do your analysis during the week and you see an opportunity, it's being able to then having that knowledge put in you, and if you see it on the field, being able to do the right thing. And that's what the Kiwis have been so good at for so long. You know, you see games where one that jumps out of my mind was Paul O'Connell was injured at Ireland versus New Zealand, and all you could see was all the New Zealanders just pointing at him. So Dan Carter knew straight away he had to go for that man because he knew he was struggling, and then make a line break. And that's a skill in itself, but that comes from work off the field rather than on the field. Split second sort of decisions that one that jumped in my head was Toulon last year was where they were going to go left, and Johnny and obviously Gitto worked so well together that Johnny was going to go left, and then obviously Gitz had seen something on right and they managed to get it back to him, and he put that little grubber through, popped it up and moved it. And yeah, that's when you just get good players working on the same wavelength that you can create stuff like that. I mean, you see them every day. I mean, the players will always see something and be able to do it no matter what their ability. For one time you'll have that one moment where you've gone, I've just done something great, and then it's then having the ability to learn of what triggers you to see those things, and how do I then reproduce them every game. And that's what the good players can do. The coaches that sort of coached me when I was a kid, I was very lucky. I went to Queen Elizabeth Grammar School, Wakefield, and we had just a good group of coaches there. There was John Preston, who also taught design technology with me. He sort of was a hard taskmaster, but you know, he sort of instilled you with toughness. But then we had Gary Pickersgill, Trevor Barker and John Chollower, 3 guys who just made rugby fun. They had an unbelievable passion for it. Trevor most of them used to play either down at Sandal or Wakefield, so you know, they played themselves, so they weren't just coaches, they played as well, so they knew the game. And but the one that sort of probably helped me the most in terms of, not from necessarily a coaching point of view, was a guy called Jeff Wappett, who was England 18s coach. Yeah, I'd always been someone who played county level rugby every year, but then never really got into the north of England. And Jeff Wappett was sort of the north of England coach and the England coach, and I didn't get in the north of England, but he was coach of Bradford Grammar School as well, so a local rival. And he wanted to see me play again, so I ended up playing for the South West against the Midlands, and then played pretty well in that game, so got myself an England trial. Had a bad 5 minutes in that England trial, but then played really well, and got told I didn't get picked because of that first 5 minutes. But he sort of kept me involved in it, then Tom May actually went on. So I was on the bench for England against France in the first game, and then Tom May went on a A-level study thing and missed 2 games, and I got to play and sort of took my opportunity there, and then that sort of cemented my place in there, and off the back of that I got my contract at Bath after the summer tour. So sort of without him, and him not from the coaching side, but him just believing in me. Whereas if someone gives you a feel that they believe in you, then you feel that you've got to repay them, and that was sort of my mentality, that every time that he'd given me an opportunity, I felt that I owed it for him to prove that he was right, and luckily for me it sort of worked out in that way.
It's quite funny when you look back and you think actually that person was as important as
Yeah, completely, because I'm not saying that I wouldn't have succeeded if he wasn't there, but there's a good chance that I might not have been. I might have been not in the same situation where I got offered a contract at 18, so I'd have gone to uni. And you never know what happens at uni. You could fall out of rugby, you could just fall into that uni life, and you've missed your boat. And so, no, fully appreciative of the opportunities that I got given there. And as I say, I was lucky enough to take them.
It was good. It was good. Obviously, there's a few bits that at half time I sort of tried to pick up on, slightly get narrow in D, chasing the ball a little bit, and our breakdown work in attack. They got to flood through it a bit, so it's just more stuff they can go away from. You can see the stuff that when we came down earlier that they try to implement with their calls and how they want to play. But it was good fun. It was good fun, definitely.
Obviously, gave away a few penalties out there. Were they just decisions, or?
Well, you can never blame a ref, but it was the ref.
Could this be? Would you ever cancel out maybe a return trip maybe next year, or have you suddenly fallen in love with the club?
Not at all. The beauty about rugby is boys are boys and players are players. They're always good lads. It's a team sport. It's bred to be that way, and wherever you go, it's still got that camaraderie, that bond. You see it in any team, and they were an absolute joy to come down and play alongside. It was good fun.
And what about Crediton? A hard-fought opponent?
Yeah, some big boys in that team. So you can see that their game's built around their forward pack, and they were very good at what they did. And I think it was quite good for them, for North Taunton to play them, because it gives them a little bit of clue where they need to work on around that line out in the scrum area, a little bit around the tight, getting those big boys on the floor and not letting them stand up and drive it in. But yeah, we get to run into a few big boys as well, which was nice.
Lastly, obviously a few hits on one individual in particular. Was that because you saw a ball carrying threat out there?
Yeah, he liked carrying the ball into boys, and just go. So I felt I had to try and hit someone, and he was the biggest lad, so you got to go after the biggest thing.
Just one more. Obviously played predominantly at number 10. Is that a position that you always wanted to have a go at?
No, I just it's always a tough decision if you play 13 or you're 12. It's a little bit, I should be all right at that position. If you get to, whereas at 10, I prefer to try and get other people into space and try and sort of direct the game to sort of help them enjoy themselves a bit more and get the best out of all of them. I think that's easier to do at 10, whereas if I end up playing at 13, you just end up playing your normal game, and that's not really, you don't get involved with as many other players, which isn't the reason why we're here.
I'm going to have a few beers with the lads, and nice old warm clubhouse.
Hit the showers, then sure the food will be nice, just what you want after a match, and a couple of beers, and we'll be sweet.
Thanks, man.
All right.